virtual communication. In this short video, you'll learn a little bit about me, your instructor. I'll describe the structure of the course, and we'll discuss some tips to succeed in this course. So here, this is my family. We're a perfect example of a theory that compares culture to an iceberg. You could make many assumptions about our cultural background by looking at this photo, but there are many things that you would not see. For example, what are our religious beliefs? Ethnicity? What language do we speak? Do we have any disabilities that make us part of a particular group? Interestingly, this picture was taken while we were living for a summer in Serbia, where my husband's company has an office. Usually when I travel, people seem to know from my appearance that I'm American, or at least not a native of the country. This is sometimes due to the way I look, but often it's also the clothing I'm wearing or some other subtle thing that makes me stand out. If you're from certain parts of Arizona, you can probably relate to this, such as when we identify certain people we see as snowbirds without knowing anything about them. We will discuss this in the course and how one's culture cannot be determined by physical appearance only, and that it's more than just one thing, such as where you were born. So next, let's talk about the structure of this course. This course is an 8-week compressed hybrid course. As you're probably aware, we'll be doing 50% of our classwork, notice I didn't say homework or out-of-class work, online, and another 50% in the classroom. Additionally, this course follows a flipped classroom model. If you've not heard this term before, it refers to flipping the traditional classroom structure, where I would lecture first in class, and then you would go home and review the material, such as a textbook or other readings, on your own after hearing about it from me. A flipped classroom turns this upside down, where students prepare for class on their own by getting the course content online. Then, when you come to class, we'll focus on engaging with the course material. In this model, students receive course content outside of class rather than in a traditional in-class lecture. You're responsible for preparing and doing some out-of-class work. For example, some of the work in this class includes completing lessons and taking a brief test. When you come to class, we'll spend time doing activities and have the opportunities to clarify concepts and build some skills. This is an active learning model rather than a passive one, where you just sit in class and listen, or maybe take notes. Research shows that student learning improves, as does student success with this model. However, if you're used to attending class and just listening for an hour with little effort, taking a few tests, this model will likely take much more effort on your part. You are responsible for your learning. However, this model also allows me to do my job better as your instructor, because I can identify problems and clarify issues and make sure that students are understanding the material well before we get to any major graded assignments. Another model that may be new to you in this class is that we'll be using a specific flipped classroom technique called team-based learning. So what is team-based learning, or TBL? It's a structured form of small group learning that emphasizes student preparation outside of class and application of knowledge in class. I know from years of teaching as well as years of being a student that students don't learn much if they come to class unprepared. When you go to class without having done the reading or other homework, you don't get nearly as much out of class as when you've prepared. Too often, instructors just switch on the lecture mode because students don't do the outside reading and preparation. While you may be very used to sitting through long lectures, it's not the most effective way to learn. Did you know that the average student forgets 50% of what they heard the minute they walk out of the classroom? Well, with TBL, we'll do the following. First, students will get into groups of 5 to 7, and you stay in those groups throughout the course. So prior to beginning a new module, students prepare via reading or other course content on their own, and I'll have that online for you. In our class, since it's hybrid, you'll do this in Blackboard on your own prior to the first day of class. Then the group takes a test on the material as students discuss questions and share information, debating answers until you agree. Groups score their answers and have an opportunity to ask questions or even challenge the answers. Next, I might give a targeted mini lecture based on any concepts that I think need clarifying based on the test. In the next class, groups will work on an activity or multiple activities that allow you to apply what you've learned, building skills or gaining more knowledge. Throughout the course, there are also opportunities for peer evaluation to help team members know how they're doing. This is what we will follow in our class. So why do this? Isn't it so much easier just to get a lecture and take exams? Well, there are many benefits for TBL, and flipped classroom. Instead of listening to a lecture in class and having to go at the instructor's pace or the rest of the class's pace, you have the time to study at your own pace, whether that's faster or slower than others, and have time to reflect on the material, especially areas that might need more of your time. You can also take notes at your own pace rather than trying to listen to the instructor and take notes all at once. You are in control of the course content and the pace of the class. When we all work together in class on assignments, this gives me, the instructor, the opportunity to see where there are errors, misunderstandings, or confusion before you have to turn in a large graded assignment. And I can also help individual students. Instead of using the same lectures year after year, the instructor responds to the needs of the students. And yes, I know that many of you have had bad experiences in groups before, but the type of group, or really team, in TBL is more about peer collaboration and peer learning. You have the opportunity to learn as you discuss topics and work together on class activities. Yes, you will complete a group project and do one other group assignment, but I'll guide you through that process. So now that you have a better idea as to what to expect for the next 8 weeks, here's a few tips. I always put a to-do list at the beginning of each module. It corresponds with the course calendar, so check there for due dates. Review the module objectives. This gives you a heads up as to what you're supposed to be learning, so you can focus your time and effort on what's important. Next, review the lessons and take notes. The biggest mistake made by students in online, hybrid, and flipped classrooms is that they drop their note-taking that they would normally do in class. You will need your notes, and you'll want to have them in class with you. Make sure to do everything on the readings. Don't just skip to the interactive exercises within them to get the points. Read everything, watch every video, click on links, and do what's instructed. And be sure to hit submit at the end so the Blackboard records your points. Keep in mind that it also records what you're doing, so if you just skip through it in 1 minute, I know you didn't spend much time preparing for class. Make sure to also save some time to work on any team assignments as well. Don't leave your team out in the cold. But what about when things go wrong? Well, as a compressed course, it is more important than ever that you keep up with your work. When students turn in assignments late, they tend to be a little bit behind for the rest of the course. It snowballs as you're always trying to do yesterday's work when everyone else is focused on today. Because I want you to be successful, I have a relatively strict late policy that still allows for those life happens kind of events. For every 30 minutes you submit an assignment late, you will receive a 1% deduction. I do this because it seems unfair to give someone the same deduction for being 1 hour late versus someone who took a whole extra day to complete the work. You can pause the video and look at this example if it doesn't make sense yet. Do keep in mind that after 48 hours, you've used up almost all the points possible due to the deduction, so no assignments are accepted after 2 days. No extensions will be given. This is the policy, and to be fair, I apply it to everyone. So to sum it up, we have a great 8 weeks ahead of us, and it will go fast. With the team-based learning module, I think you'll find the course to be a lot of work, but very supportive. And of course, sometimes we'll have a little fun as we discover new cultures and how they communicate. You'll need to post on the course question discussion forum as part of your orientation assignments. This forum will be open all semester, and you can post at any time. Sometimes your questions might help other students, so if it isn't a question that only applies to you or is about your grades, I encourage you to post here when you have a question. I am looking forward to the next 8 weeks.